Go through diverse health challenges ranging from reproductive and fertility issues to mental health challenges. Well, today we are discussing health issues women face and how to manage them. You're welcome. This is Inside Health, a health show where we discuss topical health issues and bring you solutions and information that will help you take charge of your health and well-being. I am your host, Chigichi Agorom, and I invite you to go on over to our social media platforms on TikTok, Facebook, YouTube as Signature TV Official. We want to hear from you, and you can also access our previous episodes. Well, we're going on a short break, and when we get back, I will introduce the expert guests in the studio to stay with us.
Every second, every minute, every day, news is breaking, events occur, and there are new developments. At Signature TV, we follow these stories objectively, bringing all sides without bias, explaining the complex issues, breaking down the numbers, and investigating the issues behind the news. Anywhere and everywhere, near or far, wherever the news is, we will be there. Signature TV. News in your pocket.
Well, if you're just joining us, this is still Inside Health on Signature TV. I beg your pardon. And we're discussing women, health issues that women have and how to address or manage them. Our guest in the studio is a registered nurse and midwife. Her name is Obianuju Elizabeth Okonkwo. Good morning, Obianuju Elizabeth. Thank you for joining us on the show.
Thank
Absolutely.
you.
And I must say, you look stunning.
Oh,
The color
thank
brings
you.
out every beautiful aspect of you. So you're welcome to the show.
Thank you so much.
Right. So we're discussing women's health, and rightly so, because last week was International Women's Day. So I think it's still apt and in line. So we're going to be talking about some of the major ailments that women will have to, go through at some point in their lives. So I want you to just take us through more like an overview of some of the ailments that once you mention, they'll say, it's the disease of the women. For example, cervical cancer. But I want you to just take us through some of those, sicknesses and health challenges that, women normally go through before we dive deep into the conversation.
Okay. Women go through a lot of health challenges, some unnoticed, while some are noticed. Some, they suffer through these challenges quietly because of societal influence and societal stigma. And like cervical cancer is one type of cancer that no woman should die from. But a lot of women are dying silently because it affects an area that, in quotes, we don't want to go there. And that woman keep dying in silence. So cervical cancer is one type of it. Then we also have breast cancer. Breast cancer is there ravaging a lot of women. It's the highest cancer death. Breast cancer
Really?
is the highest form of cancer death for women. Second is cervical cancer.
Wow.
And a lot of women are dying from it, of which, if every woman learns how to do self-breast examination, early detection when it comes to cancer saves a lot of life, because most women present at the third stage when things have already gone sour, and that causes a lot of death. Then another health challenges that women face is postpartum depression. Postpartum depression,
we don't even talk about
that is silent killer.
Honestly, is it because of the stigma that is attached to, mental health? When a woman, I remember I had this conversation. Sorry, I'll still go ahead with you. I had this conversation, and the lady was telling us so many things. And I told her, do you know it was depression you had? But she was like, her, people around her they were like, it's the baby you had. Why are you acting up? Why are you behaving like this? But I beg your pardon, went through postpartum depression. So the question is, why are we not talking enough about it?
Because of the societal stigma. Mental health is seen as caused by evil. Some people believe it runs in the family. So they tend to attach a lot of stigma, and most people don't want to. You find out that some that have a confirmed mental case, they hide them. They keep them indoors. They don't want to socialize. They don't even want their next door neighbor to even know about it. Just what will they say? I don't want them to say that I have someone that has. But no, they said problem shared is half solved. Keeping that person indoor, not verbalizing, won't solve any problem.
Okay.
Speaking up
Okay.
can solve a lot of your problem.
Okay.
And it borders on that stigma, societal stigma,
Right.
which I think with increased awareness should stop.
All right. So we mentioned cervical cancer, breast cancer, postpartum depression. What other ailments do women usually go through?
Polycystic ovarian syndrome.
What's that?
Polycystic ovarian syndrome, just like the name, poly, many. Cystic, cyst. A cyst is a fluid-filled sac in the ovary. The ovary is is responsible for egg ovulation in women and conception. Then syndrome means that it has a lot of symptoms. So this many fluid-filled sac in the ovary of a woman exposes her to have different symptoms. And because the ovary is responsible for the women hormone, which is progesterone and estrogen, there is a high level of androgen, which is the male hormone, instead of progesterone and estrogen in the system of that woman. And you can guess what will happen. A woman, good. A woman that has high level of androgen would not ovulate.
Wow.
They have irregular periods. Some have amenorrhea, that's no menses, no period, for a period of 6 months, 3 months, because the body interprets it as, I'm not sure if it's a male, yes, or a female, So they tend to have long period of amenorrhea, no ovulation, and of course, infertility.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow. What other ailments are there to look out for?
Menopause, though not an ailment, but
Yes.
is a natural biological process that marks the end of menstrual cycle or reproductive life.
Yes.
If it's not an ailment, but
Well, people will complain that hot flushes, they don't understand their bodies, this, that. So it's something that we should, talk more about and at least prepare.
Yes. I usually tell people at the age of 40, start preparing your mind. It's a natural thing. And when it comes to menopause, you can't connect the dots forward. It's usually backwards. I can't say at the age of 45, I will enter menopause. There is no specific age. We can be two siblings, the same mother, the same father. We enter menopause at different ages. Yes. And not until you are there. When you record a period of 1 to 2 years of no menstrual drop, then you can now say, oh, I've entered menopause. So you can't say, as at yesterday, that next month or next year I will enter. No. It's until you are there. For a period of 12 months to 1 year, no menstrual drop, then say, oh, I've entered. But prior to that, we have what we call perimenopause or premenopause, yes, which comes with some symptoms that women feel, and a lot of women go to different places. In fact, I had a client who said that she has been to 3 different hospitals, treating nothing in particular.
Of course, there's not going to be a diagnosis.
You
Nothing is wrong
understand?
with them.
She said at a point, she said they kept poison for her. But when she came, and because I've taken history and I noticed her age, then I gave a counseling on menopausal symptoms. Right. As I was speaking, this woman was, oh yes,
How did you know?
How did you know? How did you know? It happens to me. She was like, this is the reason I've been moving from one hospital to the other.
Right.
This is exactly, she was experiencing hot flush. And this hot flush affects women differently. In some people, it goes unnoticed.
All right.
While some people, it's quite severe.
Interesting. All right, so we'll get deep into this conversation right after our special report. So I want you to pay rapt attention to our special report coming up on most of the illnesses that women go through, and of course we'll discuss how to address them after we come back. So stay tuned.
Women's health is multifaceted and complex. Across the globe, women face a range of health issues, many of which are unique to their gender. From reproductive health to mental well-being, these challenges can significantly impact their quality of life. But the good news is, with awareness and proactive care, many of these issues can be managed and even prevented. We will take a closer look at some of the most common health issues affecting women, and more importantly, how women can address them for better health and well-being. Let's begin with one of the most important aspects of women's health, reproductive health. From puberty to menopause, women experience significant hormonal changes that affect their bodies in different ways. Menstruation, pregnancy, and menopause all bring their own set of challenges. For many women, heavy periods, painful cramps, and irregular cycles are part of their lives. These conditions can be symptoms of underlying issues like endometriosis, polycystic ovary syndrome, or fibroids. While these conditions are common, they often go untreated or are simply accepted as normal. Addressing these issues begins with awareness. Regular gynecological exams, open conversations with healthcare providers, and tracking menstrual cycles can help identify when something is wrong. Early detection and treatment can make a significant difference in managing symptoms and maintaining a good quality of life. As women enter premenopause and eventually reach menopause, they face new challenges, often associated with fluctuating hormones. Symptoms such as hot flashes, mood swings, insomnia, and vaginal dryness are just some of the common effects that can be uncomfortable and disruptive. While menopause is a natural phase of life, women can manage these symptoms in a variety of ways. For some, hormone replacement therapy may be helpful, but for others, lifestyle changes such as regular exercise, a balanced diet, stress reduction techniques, and staying hydrated can bring relief. It is crucial for women to consult their healthcare provider to determine the best approach for managing menopause and to ensure that they are not suffering in silence. Mental health is another significant area of concern for women. Anxiety, depression, and stress affect women at higher rates more than men. Life's many pressures, work, family, societal expectations can take a toll on a woman's mental health. Many women also face eating disorders and struggles with body image, often exacerbated by unrealistic beauty standards portrayed in media. Unfortunately, women tend to carry a large emotional burden, sometimes feeling that they must juggle all of life's demands without asking for help. The first step in addressing mental health issues is to break the silence. Seeking professional help, whether through therapy, medication, or support groups, is essential for healing. Women must understand that asking for help is a sign of strength, not weakness. In addition to professional treatment, self-care practices like mindfulness, exercise, healthy eating, and maintaining strong social connections are also crucial for supporting mental well-being. Another common but often overlooked issue for women is osteoporosis, a condition that causes bones to become brittle and weak. Women are at a much higher risk of developing osteoporosis, particularly after menopause, when the body's estrogen levels decline. This can lead to fractures, especially in the hip, spine, and wrist. The good news is that osteoporosis can often be prevented or managed with proper nutrition, including calcium and vitamin D, along with weight-bearing exercises. Regular bone density tests can help detect early signs of osteoporosis, so that women can take proactive steps to maintain their bone health. Autoimmune diseases are another significant health concern for women. Conditions like lupus, rheumatoid arthritis, and multiple sclerosis affect women more frequently than men, and they often require complex treatment regimens. The symptoms can be vague and vary greatly from person to person, making diagnosis difficult. For women living with autoimmune diseases, it is crucial to find a healthcare provider who understands the complexities of these conditions. Early diagnoses and personalized treatment plans, often involving a combination of medication, lifestyle changes, and support, can help manage symptoms and prevent flare-ups. In the face of all these health challenges, one thing is clear: women's health is a lifelong journey. It requires constant attention, awareness, and proactive care. Whether it is reproductive health, mental health, heart disease, or autoimmune conditions, women can lead healthier lives by staying informed and seeking the right support. The key to addressing these health issues is recognizing the importance of regular checkups, healthy habits, and most importantly, knowing that it is okay to ask for help. Women deserve to live not only longer lives, but healthier lives, one where their health is a priority. Thank you for joining us today. We hope this special report has empowered you to take charge of your health and embrace a proactive approach to your well-being. Stay strong, stay healthy.
Many thanks for still staying with us. We are still discussing health issues women face and how to address them. And Nurse Uju Lizzie Okonkwo is still in the studio. I hope I can call you Lizzie.
Yes, of course.
Okay, so let's take this discussion in a particular sequence. We're going to discuss maternal health. We're going to discuss reproductive health, then mental health, probably the cancers and any other issue, menopause, that you want to talk about. So let's start with infertility, reproductive health. I know you've mentioned the polycystic ovarian syndrome. You've also mentioned there was something else you mentioned, I've forgotten, but there's also the issue of fibroids. Yeah. There's also the issue of infertility. Now, what are the predisposing factors? What are the things that can make someone more prone to some of these, issues more than the other person? Taking, for example, fibroid, because that's the more, well-known, health challenge that women go through. Yeah. What are some of the predisposing factors for fibroid?
Okay, fibroid is an abnormal growth in the uterus, and we call it myoma. Mm-hmm. Okay, and the uterus was created to harbor something. So at a certain age, is expected the reproductive hormones is active, and the uterus is expected to carry something. So if at a certain age it has waited so long and nothing, it starts to make up something to carry.
Really?
Yes, it wants to carry something. So if not a child, let me develop a skin and carry something. That is, in layman's language, this fibroid.
Really?
Yes, when the uterus waits for a long time, for example, you usually find it in women of older ages.
But then there are still some women who they are still giving birth, they are actively giving birth, yet there's still fibroid issues.
Yes, it was there before the conception.
Okay.
Fibroid varies. We have different sites. We have subserosal, we have intramural, depending on the site. Intramural affects the inner, the myometrium.
Can you break it down?
Okay, the uterus have different layers. Okay. So the third layer is what we call the myometrium. Okay. And that myometrium is where the fetus is embedded. Okay. So fibroid in the intramural is embedded in the place the baby is supposed to. So that site usually affects infertility. It affects conception.
That's the type of fibroid,
that affects conception. If at the subserosal, the serosal level layer, most times it's the second layer of the uterus. Okay. Okay. If the fibroid is there, remember the myometrium, the inner layer is empty. So the baby can cohabit with the fibroid. Really? Yes. But in most cases of intramural, the inner layer, fertility becomes a problem because it alters the cycle, the menstrual cycle. Remember, everything about conception borders down to ovulation. If you must ovulate to conceive. So it alters the menstrual cycle that the eggs are not matured for you to ovulate and leading to infertility. So one major factor is elderly primates, we call them, when you, in older age women who have not conceived for the first time, the woman have waited for like 40 years, no child. So age is a major factor. Then hereditary, genetic research has shown that it's genetic. Then we also have obesity, increase in weight, yes, has been found to contribute in the sense that fat deposits in the vessels, and it also causes immature ovaries. And when it's immature, you can't ovulate. So these joined together affects infertility. And
so you have mentioned weight, genetics and age as predisposing factors. Now tell us, what are some of the symptoms that could point to a lady, having this? Because some people might actually carry and not know that they are carrying these things. For example, fibroid.
Yeah.
Well, except for polycystic ovarian syndrome, that I read that it's quite painful, but some actually are.
Some are mild.
Yeah, mild that you may not even know. So
notice.
What are some of the telltale signs that a lady will look at and say, oh, I should probably go and see a doctor or get, some kind of health advice?
Okay. Most uterine myomas, uterine fibroids.
Please, can you use, can you speak English?
All right. Most uterine fibroids are characterized by history of no menses or irregular menses. You start noticing, in some people, they notice scanty menses. Maybe your menses is supposed to flow for 4 days, and on the first day it came out, and that's all. Just one day. And some people, just a drop, not even full, just scanty for 2 days, and that's all. It should be a cause for concern for any woman of reproductive age that your menses is not flowing complete. Some people, they have a flow day of 3, they have 4, some have 5, but when you notice that it's scanty or different from normal, in some people it comes out heavy flow. Yes, you're on a normal, you notice that your menses flows for 4 days with using 2 parts a day. Then all of a sudden you notice in a day you are using 5 parts. You can't even see it. It's pouring as if heavy flow. Is a cause for concern. Fibroids has such. Then in some people, they have pain prior to their menstrual cycle. Different from menstrual pain, yes. Menstrual pain, it starts at the site. Then in some people, they notice abdominal increase in abdominal size. Based on the size, not everybody, there are some that their stomach is as flat as, but it's there, depending on the size.
All right, so someone is listening to you and the person is like, oh, I do experience at least 1 or 2 of these symptoms. Oh, I know someone. Oh, my sister is experiencing. What will be your advice to them? What is it that they should do immediately?
Okay, if you are a lady of reproductive age and you've recorded a history of no menses, I usually say every woman is a mathematician. Once you are a woman, keep your calendar, get your records, record your cycle. So that, because you find out some people, you ask some ladies, when was the last time you saw a menses? They say, oh, I can't even remember. No, you should, even if it's your phone, your calendar. I remember growing up, we used calendar and red pen. Once you see our menses, we go and tick that date.
Yes.
So it helps you to, actually. Yes, it helps you to connect the dots. If you stay 40 days, you've not seen your menses, it's a cause for concern. Not to talk of 2 months. So missing a period is an issue. Then if you notice any difference from your flow, your usual flow, it's a cause for concern. Don't just wait and say, after I'm not married. No, it's not when you are in the stream you start looking for cake. Yes. No, you should, when you track your cycle, it helps you to know what is normal, for you to be able to dictate what is abnormal.
Sure.
You can't dictate abnormality when you don't even know, what is your cycle. I usually ask some young girls, what is your cycle? Some just assume because they said everyone is
28.
28. But I said everybody is not 28.
True.
Some people are 26, some are 27, some are 30,
30.
some are 31. So what is your own? And you won't know that unless you keep your dates, your
Very
records.
quickly, can you please track the calendar for us for menstrual flow? Because menstrual cycle is not just when the menses, when the blood is coming out.
Yeah.
It's like a
It's a
month.
cycle.
It's a cycle.
Yes.
Can you trace the calendar? Okay, the first 14 days, this is what you expect. Then this is when the blood flows, and then this is when ovulation happens. Can you just track that quickly before we get on to the next stuff?
Okay, like I said earlier, every woman has their cycle. So I'm going to give an example using 28 days cycle. If your cycle is 28 days, the first day of your menses is your day 1.
Good.
So depending on how many days it flows, some people their own flows for 4 days, some 3 days, some 5 days, depending. When it stops is the last day it flows. Then for a 28-day person, your ovulation is on the 14th day.
From that first
From
day
that
you saw
first day
your
that you
menstrual
saw your
blood.
menstrual blood.
Okay.
But 10 days after, before then, you are relatively fertile.
Ovulation.
Relatively.
Okay.
Relatively. Because at that point, you find some women, they start noticing the
The
slimy
slimy thingy.
discharge, which is not ovulation.
Oh,
Yes, it's not ovulation.
you know that there's this sticky whitish
Yes.
discharge, and then there's a slimy
Yes.
water-like discharge.
Water-like. The water-like comes before the thick one.
Okay.
So from the 10th day of your cycle, starting from the first day of blood, is those, you start from 10th day, 11th day, you start noticing those slimy egg whites. Yes. Then on the 14th day for a 28-day cycle, you see that. It could be not necessarily 14th-day morning. It could be afternoon. It could be even in the night.
On differences, personal
Yes.
differences.
So that is ovulation. Some people have ovulation pain, maybe depending on the site that is being released, maybe left or right, but not everybody feels that. So you shouldn't wait for the pain. That's slimy, thick
Whitish
mucus is the ovulation.
Oh.
And remember, some people can ovulate without egg.
Really?
Yes, we call it anovulation.
How
No
would
egg.
someone know that this ovulation is not carrying any seed?
Yes, because when you notice that's thick mucus,
Yes.
it has different consistencies.
Okay.
Yes, there's one that looks like kata
Yes.
that you
yes.
can drag.
Yes. Yes. The
That
thick one.
yes, it helps you to know that it has egg. Because sometimes I see my mucus, but it's without egg. Egg was not really.
Just the way that there are some men that could produce semen and there's no egg inside.
Exactly.
There's no sperm
You can
inside.
ovulate without egg.
And that's primary
And that-
infertility.
of course.
That takes us to infertility.
Of course. Infertility is a is a comprehensive one.
Let's try.
Is a comprehensive
Let's
one.
talk maternal health and infertility. What are the primary causes of infertility?
You know, in our society, infertility has been seen like a woman
Yes.
issue, but I can tell you it is not. It's no respect of gender. Men, women, we have different causes. And in fact, the current research, 33% causes are from men, 33 from women.
Wow.
So
50-50.
yes. I had a friend, one of my friends that works in an IVF center. She told me, Lizzie, the rate of infertility in men is alarming.
Really?
Is alarming. You know, initially we thought it's the women. No. Now it's 33%.
Okay,
It's
but
men,
let's
women.
focus on
But
the
for
causes
the-
for women.
For women,
Well, this is a cause for alarm.
yes, it is. It is. We have the primary causes, primary type of infertility. We have the secondary type. Then we have the unexplained type, because there are some people. The primary type is those that have never been pregnant since they are a woman, a lady. They've never missed a period. That's primary infertility. Then the secondary infertility, you've noticed some people that have had one child, and after which is not forthcoming. That's secondary. Then unexplained. You find some women, they've they menstruate, they ovulate, they are fine, and yet pregnancy is not
Some people will say
forthcoming.
that, I don't know if it's conventional medicine, but some people will tell you, and you will hear, especially the tradomedical, that you have acidic tube for the woman. Is it a fact? Or so that when the sperm comes in, the acidity will just
It'll
kill off.
it.
Yeah.
We have our body pH, but that's not the acidic nature. Was there any investigation to back it up? You understand? Yes, our vagina has the pH, but
the cervix, does the cervix have the same pH as the vagina?
yes.
Oh.
Yes, and the unless you have an investigation that could tell that this cervical mucus is
Highly
acidic,
acidic.
then you can give that diagnosis.
Okay.
Okay. So for the causes of infertility in women, we have tubal causes. You know the fallopian tube, when the ovaries are fertilized by the sperm, the fertilized egg have to swim.
Yeah, we
through.
should put up the diagram so that the viewer can understand what we're talking
Yes.
about.
This egg have to swim through the tubes to the uterus. So if the tubes are blocked, it can't flow. There is a blockade there. So it can't get to the uterus.
So what happens to the egg if it can't get to the uterus? It disintegrates?
It disintegrates. It calcifies. Yes.
Can it cause cysts?
No,
Okay.
no. We are coming to cysts.
Okay.
So those are the tubal blockage can be a factor, a cause of infertility. Then we also have uterine factors. The uterine factors like fibroid that we just mentioned. We have endometriosis. We have polycystic ovarian syndrome. Then we have uterine synechia, we call it.
What does that
When
mean?
the uterus is a congenital abnormality, you find some women that their uterus are kind of closed
Rather than
open to harbor.
really?
Though in some women is as a result of maybe they've had any surgical intervention that tampered with the uterus, then it healed
Okay,
up
the
and
scar and
the
scarred up.
scarred up. Okay. Then we also have I've mentioned the tubal factors of infertility, then the hormonal factors. We have hormonal factors when women are hormone regulated. We have progesterone and estrogen. So and these hormones, that's why we call it menstrual cycle, and it's a phase. While in school, we plot it as a graph. These hormones are undulating. They don't go together. The menstrual phase is known as the progesterone phase. The progesterone is at its peak. Then when it drops, the estrogen takes up for ovulation.
So it's a continuous feedback.
Yes. So when, due to some factors, the progesterone remains at that level, what happens? Estrogen, which is responsible for ovulation, can't function, and that woman can't get pregnant. So that's a factor, hormone imbalance. Then we go to ovarian factors, the ovary, when there's immature ovary, because it's a matured one that will be fertilized due to some factors also that can also be hormonal. Then the ovaries are not matured to be released to rupture for ovulation, and that can also cause infertility.
IVF and surrogacy.
Yeah.
Do you think every woman that wants to have a child should have a child?
Of course, that is a prayer answered, because it has done 50%, if not more. That's almost every woman, because with IVF we have different types. If, for example, a woman is having the ovarian problem as a cause of her infertility, we have egg donors.
Really?
Yes.
Well, how affordable is
have.
this?
Yes, it's just another issue, because it will interest you that a lot of young girls are now using it for business. To make money. You go, they harvest
How
your
easy
egg.
is it to
They
harvest?
pay them mega money, but when you come to access the eggs, the price is high, but is available. is available.
Okay.
So then also surrogacy has also helped for people like that has a uterine synecdoche that I mentioned is an option.
So surrogacy involves taking the woman and the man's cells.
No, if the woman doesn't have egg problem, the ovaries are okay and healthy, then the man's sperm is okay, then they can use the couple and fertilize in the lab. Then surrogacy is getting an external person.
Okay, so you're saying, let's take it down so that people can understand. Now, this woman has issues with her uterus. The husband is fine, she's fine in terms of egg production. Are they going to have sex, or they harvest the woman's egg and harvest the man's sperm?
Exactly.
Fertilize it outside of the body or inside the body of the surrogate mother?
As outside.
Really?
Then implants.
What percentage of success has this recorded?
Most cases above 70%. Depending on many factors. The viability of the eggs.
Okay, we might not have time to go into it. I have to call you back so that, because my brain is going like this.
Yeah.
You know, my antenna is going, so I have to invite you back. All right, so let's skip infertility, because infertility is one issue that we might not be able to exhaust even in a day. Okay, so let's talk about cancer. Okay. You mentioned earlier breast cancer being number 1. Cervical cancer number 2. What are okay, and also, I think you also mentioned that some like women do not know how to test themselves.
Yes.
Tell us about that.
Okay, for breast cancer, like we know, the cause is unknown, but we have some risk factors, and research have shown that no breast cancer is acute, is emergency. It does not start overnight. Before a woman is diagnosed of breast cancer, that cancer cells have been in her for nothing less than 5 years.
Wow.
Yes. So that is why we create awareness. Every woman of reproductive age should know how to do self-breast examination.
Can you just tell?
Because breast cancer, research has shown that most cancer cells starts from what we know as lump, breast lump. And this lump, 3 factors you should look out for to identify a breast lump. It is hard, like a peanut, not very big, and it is painless. Hard, painless, and mobile.
Oh, mobile. So
Mobile is
at
not,
one point.
yeah,
And then
like it's not fixed. It's not attached to your skin. It
somewhere
moves.
within the
Yes,
matrix of the
it
breast.
moves around. At the time when you find it, you try to, because of the adipose tissue is embedded in, you try to get it. So it's mobile, it moves around. It is painless, it is hard. And how do we do this self-breast examination? When you lie on your bed, a flat surface, it can be on the floor, removing your dress, you place your hands on your head, one hand, then you use the pad of your hand, this place, starting from your armpit, because this lump sometimes can lodge under the armpits, yes. So you start from your armpit, using the pad of your hand, and you press in a circular form, pressing your breast down to your chest, and you move. You continue moving. You are moving without raising your hand. You are looking out for that hard knot. It's like a knot, hard. Palm kernel knot. So when you move, you keep moving and keep coming closer until you get to your nipple and press down. When you are done, you press your nipple. Your self-breast examination is not complete without pressing your nipple.
Why?
Because we found out that a lot of women go about with breast milk coming out from their nipple.
And they're not
blood,
pregnant?
Pus.
What?
Some don't know. So your breast examination is not complete until you press your nipple. If you are not pregnant, you are not lactating, nothing should come from your breast. Not even milk, not even pus or blood. So that's the essence of checking, because continuous presence of fluid, milk or blood in the breast is and become cancerous.
So even though you may not have found any lump, if you find any kind of exudation or discharge,
please go to the hospital.
Wow.
Yes.
Let's go to cervical cancer.
Yes. Cervical cancer is one type of cancer I usually say no woman should die from. But a lot is the second highest cancer deaths
Why do you
in
think
women.
no one should die from it?
Because unlike every other type of cancer, like I said, breast cancer, we don't know the cause. Cervical cancer, we know the cause. Cervical cancer is caused by human papilloma virus. And this virus is sexually transmitted. Men can contact it, women can contact it. But it doesn't affect men. Why? Because this virus has affinity for the cervix. Men does not have cervix. So a man can have it and live very healthy all the days of his life and die healthy without any problem. But that doesn't mean he can't share it to the woman. You understand?
Wow.
So that is why I said no woman should die from it. But women are dying. Why? Just for one singular fact that we don't want to get screened.
Is it invasive? I mean, the screening.
Not really, because when we talk about cervical, the cervix, the neck of the womb is hidden and is in a part that you are shy to talk about the cervix, and there is no blood test to do to check for cervical cancer.
No serological
No,
test.
it's localized. You have to go to the cervix, and most people don't want you to go there. No, please.
Is it painful?
It's not painful, just that's, I don't know if I should,
discomfort.
that discomfort, and that they feel you are intruding in their privacy. But I usually say, cervical cancer stage 1 and stage 2 does not have any symptoms.
So unlike breast cancer, there's no way you can even identify it
Without
early.
being tested, you can't identify. In fact, you will have your children with stage 1 cervical cancer. Your husband, you will enjoy a sexual life very well without, by the time you start experiencing some symptoms, it's rather late. It's rather late. And another thing, cervical cancer is preventable. That's why I said no woman should die from it. It's preventable. We have the human papilloma virus vaccine, which the government introduced that should be given to our young girls 9 to 14 because the virus is sexually transmitted. We believe at this age they are not sexually active. So let's prevent before they are sexually active. Then, stage 1 and stage 2 can be treated 100%.
With what?
Using cryotherapy.
What's cryotherapy?
Cryotherapy is the latest technology for the freezing of that site. By freezing, treatment by freezing. Initially, we used to use ablative by burning, but over time, because it's highly invasive and the pain, with research technology, now is by freezing, which relatively not painful.
So chemotherapy is?
Chemotherapy is there, but for cervical, at stage 1 and stage 2, cryotherapy does wonderfully well.
Okay, since the symptoms are not so obvious, what are some of the preventive measures? You said it's preventable.
Yes.
Take us through before we get to the next
Okay,
topic.
for cervical cancer, like I said, is sexually transmitted. So, healthy sexual life. Healthy sexual life is ensured. Be faithful to your partner.
Good.
Safe sex practices. Because we have different strains and multiple sexual partners, you are exposing yourself. That will further reduce the immune system and all that. So safe sex, then vaccination is also an option.
But you know how it is with us and vaccination, vaccine hesitancy. How you guys are, managing this challenge? Because I remember when the last vaccine rollouts for cervical cancer, many women,
a lot of rumors
everywhere,
the
rumors and the controversies.
Rumors everywhere. But with constant education and awareness, should be able to come through, because I think he's ignorant. Yes, and with health education and awareness, our mothers are responding and they are coming, bringing their young girls for this vaccination.
All right, so let's go to menopause and menstrual health. Although you have talked extensively on menstrual health, women are not prepared enough for menopause. And when it hits, they don't even know what hits them. What is your advice?
Please, once you are a woman, please be prepared. Menopause is sure. It's a natural phenomenon. It must come. Just that we don't know when. Just like the coming of Christ. We don't know when.
It's going to come like a thief.
It's going to come. It's going to come.
Okay.
And it comes with some symptoms. Like I usually say, just to make my clients laugh, I say on a lighter note, I said, most times he's angry that he's leaving. I'm not. You're just trying to pick all the reproductive hormones and
Wait,
just be shaking
it's
everywhere.
so ironical because with all the issues that come with menses, the blood, the discomfort, the dysmenorrhea, things like that, the pain, you'll be happy that he's living, shouldn't you? Shouldn't you be happy that he's living? But I don't know why we are not happy he's living.
He's living,
right?
You know, it comes with some discomfort. In some women, it goes unnoticed, while in some women, it's quite severe. But because it's a natural phenomenon, there's little or nothing you can do. You just manage symptomatically. For example, the hot flush, which makes you feel that heat rush. Just everywhere is a bit calm, cool, and all of a sudden, you are just soaked. That is what we call hot flush. Because some just hear hot flush, hot flush, hot flush. While in some people, they start feeling burning sensations in their hands, their palm, then their foot, which some will misinterpret and say is they kept poison.
Achere.
You know? So, but this hot flush we are talking about is a menopausal symptom. So for the hot flush, all you do is get hanky, not just hanky, towel. Then you use cotton clothes, not nylon. Cut down on dark clothes. You know, dark conducts heat, so it absorbs heat. So just cut down, wear lighter clothes. Try to bathe, get yourself comfortable. Then that's for hot flush. Some women, they experience vaginal dryness because the reproductive hormones that lubricates those areas have gone.
Hold that thought.
Okay.
How do women continue to enjoy sex after menopause? Because you just mentioned that part dries out.
Yes.
And once that part dries out, I'm wondering what's going to, how are women expected to still, stay sexually active, given the fact that the husbands are still active?
Very active, yes.
What's your advice?
Menopause should not be the reason why you shouldn't enjoy your sexual life.
Really?
Yes. With that dryness, I usually say that sexual relationship is more psychological. So if really you're still with your husband and that love is still there, you should be able to put your place in yourself in that point that I will enjoy this. Then for those that in some people is usually very severe, the dryness, we encourage them to use lubricants. We have water-based lubricants. The water-based we recommend for menopausal. It doesn't have any side effects. It's used everywhere in the pharmacy. You ask for water-based, which helps to get that place a bit, and you enjoy your sexual life. Now,
you have also alluded to the fact that it's because of hormonal issues. That's why that place dries up. What if there's a treatment? Is there a treatment? That's my question actually. Is there a treatment where someone goes on supplements and hormonal therapy that helps that place to keep producing, wetness for sex?
Yes. Not generally, we recommend for menopausal women to go for some supplements. Then we have hormone therapy, which is most women frown at it.
Why?
Maybe because of the costs.
Okay.
And it's not really common. So that's why most times we say, okay, you can use lubricants. You can use lubricants. Menopause should not be the reason why you shouldn't enjoy a sexual relationship. So supplements are there.
What sort of supplements?
Not only because of the hormonal, the wetness of the area. Also, menopause have other effects on other parts like the bones. So
we're going to get there.
Calcium is there, your vitamin D is there, and these will help.
All right, so we are running out of time, and I'm looking at you. I want to grab you and take you home so that I can ask you more questions. But let's talk about osteoporosis and arthritis.
Okay.
Given the years of losing blood every month, it's obvious. I mean, it's needless to say, women lose a lot of macronutrients and micronutrients.
Yes.
Probably leading to, once a woman enters a particular age or stage, you see her complaining of spondylosis, arthritis, osteoporosis, and things like that. How can women prepare themselves ahead? Probably you mentioned 40, 45. Is it to take supplement or exercise? What are the things that they can do in preparation? There must be a way that you can prepare your body so that once menopause hits, you don't have to just, disintegrate.
Yes. diet is very important. What you eat. They say you are what you eat.
You are what you
Yes. With that consciousness that menopause I'm approaching, you should increase diets that are rich in calcium because it helps in bone density. Then also vitamin D is also there. Then physical activities, not rigorous, but range of motion activity. Then weights. You know, osteoporosis, osteoarthritis is the bones that carries the flesh. So when the flesh is heavier, the bone will bend one side, you understand. So
Makes sense.
make it fit, proportionate to carry, that it won't be a burden to carry. So once you encourage and maintain physical activity and watch your weights,
Diet
then
and
your
physical
diet,
activity.
it will help you in preparation. And
Can
with your
women go also-
supplements,
Yes, I was
your
going to mention. What kind of
supplements,
supplements?
most times these supplements,
I think I'm bombarding you with a lot of questions
Yeah,
at the
but
same time.
it's
So I
fine.
apologize.
No,
but we
no,
need
no.
to get it out of you.
Yes. I'm very skeptical of prescribing supplements because, you know, most of these supplements are not locally made. And they are made for, we brought the imports and they were made specifically for those people. So I can't really tell what it does because our genetic makeup are different. What it does to those people might
Might
be
not go
quite
well
different. Yes.
for us.
So most times I encourage diets.
All right.
Like this, you see this bone, biscuit bone. Biscuit bone. Sometimes when you get to the market, you see them gather it. They brought it out from cows, all those. It's very good, very
Really?
rich. Yes,
Rich
very
in
rich,
calcium.
very rich in calcium.
Absolutely.
Yes, so you can, then vegetables, you can do with that.
All right, so we're still discussing women, health issues, challenges that they go through and how to address them. We'll go on a short break, and when we come back, we'll bring you health tips for aging women. Do stay with us.
Every second, every minute, every day, news is breaking. Events occur and there are new developments. At Signature TV, we follow these stories objectively, bringing all sides without bias, explaining the complex issues, breaking down the numbers, and investigating the issues behind the news. Anywhere and everywhere, near or far, wherever the news is, we will be there. Signature TV. News in your pocket.
Thank you so much for staying with us up until this moment. Don't forget, we want to hear from you, and we want you to watch our other, previous episodes on Inside Health. So go on over to Facebook, YouTube, TikTok at Signature TV Official. We just concluded our conversation, a very insightful conversation on health issues women face and how to address them. And thank you so much, Uju Lizzie Okonkwo, for coming in to give us your insights. You are really wonderful.
It's my pleasure.
Absolutely,
Thank
absolutely.
you.
And don't forget, your health is your wealth. Take charge of your well-being, and you'll be glad you did. Still your host, Chigichi Agorom. Bye for now, and here are the tips for women who are aging. See you next time.